Hello, and welcome to GameRomp Easy Mode. This is an easygoing podcast where we're going to talk about video games with my wife,
Hi.
Deanna, and me, David.
Yay. I think we should go over the game that is brand new in both of our minds. Because I played it last night and you literally just finished.
Okay, I guess we can jump right into it.
Yes. So the first game first demo we're going to be going over is Starbirds. And this is a special one to me, anyways, I think. Because it's in the style of Kurzgesagt, which, if you don't know, is like a YouTube channel that... It's a very distinct art style. Like, I don't think anything else looks like this. Between the color and just, like, how they draw things in general.
Yeah, you could just Google it. I'm sure it's a pretty big YouTube channel. They do science videos and, like...
Yeah, I think it's mostly or all science. Like, I don't know
and
how
science fiction. Like, they just think about it like, oh, what would happen if...
that's true.
If the sun exploded. And, like, they just deep dive into weird shit like that. And it's fun. And they have, like, their little mascots are birds. So this game is their bird mascots in a space mining simulator town. Well, not town building, but, like, logistics building.
Yeah, it's resource management.
Yeah, and that's basically all there is to it.
And I will say, as far as the artist that does this art, which I don't know if it's one person or it's probably, like, a team of people. But when you watch their YouTube videos... You can kind of, I guess it's probably everyone puts a little bit of input. It's just, there's a lot of, like, little Easter eggs throughout their videos. So it's not, like, a super surprise that I guess they wanted to do a video game at some point. I don't know. I just really like it.
Okay, well, that's good.
How did you feel about it? You seemed a bit confused at some points.
So I only played this because you told me to.
Well, it's more game demos. We can go back and forth. I figured that would be more interesting than how we usually do it.
And as I was playing it, my thoughts were like, I hope it's done soon.
Aww. Honestly, my only thought while playing this, not the only thought, but I was just kind of disappointed that his voice didn't come up in any point.
Yeah, there's no voice acting, just a bunch of, Macintosh quack sounds.
Yeah, which is fine. I'm sure they're just placeholders. And I was kind of hoping for the Kurzgesagt narrator to show up at some point, but I guess not.
Yeah, the intro of this game took... Okay, it's probably like 5-10 minutes, but it dragged on.
Poor you. Like, God forbid there's a story.
Well, that's the thing, like, I don't know. Honestly, I don't know what I was expecting going into it, but yeah, you're like this little captain dude, and you got like this team of birds, and they... I don't know. I don't remember any of their names, but... I
think there was, like, Ruth was one. The captain's just captain, and then Stella, maybe?
It's not very important.
No, it's just like, you get the captain, and I thought the story was interesting because you're in this ship and you're traveling, like, light years, so that's fine, whatever. But instead of coming out of, like, the typical, the human comes out of the, like, not time capsule, but, like... cryogenic, or whatever it's fucking called. You, like, hatch out of an egg. So, like, at first I thought we were literally being born, but no, you just hatch out of the egg capsule and you're the captain.
So, yeah, I guess, I don't know. I don't really know what to say about it. Just, yeah, what was the first mission? Just collecting water and some other iron, I guess, and... You basically... so you pick these little asteroids, and they're 3D, like, Mario Galaxy style small asteroids.
Yeah.
You land on one of the craters, and then you plop down extractors on the little bits where, like, there's iron here. So you plop it down, and then connect it with the conveyor belt, and you see the little things go onto the... What is it, like a launching pad? And then they shoot out rockets.
Yeah,
and those get collected to your main base.
Yeah, you extract things, you pipe them through the pipes... They go to the, I guess it's a landing pad. Well, you do the landing pad first, because obviously you gotta get that asteroid. But eventually you can, you do unlock...
A different kind of landing pad, yeah.
Yeah, it's specifically to get resources from another asteroid to yours.
One's like a landing pad, one's like a launching pad, because they'll constantly be having little rockets, like, shooting out of it, which, to me, kind of... I don't know, the noise of that was kind of just driving me nuts. I wish there was, like, slightly less of them. But it's like
Really?
every second there's like a new rocket just shooting out.
Huh. I mean, I get that it doesn't make sense that they're just rockets out of nothing, but it's just
I
whatever.
like the idea of it because, okay, later on you're going to... Eventually, it's more like, okay, we need to refine these things into something else. Like, take the silicone and refine it into whatever it was. I don't remember.
And you take water and refine it into oxygen.
Yeah. So you build a little building that does that. You connect the water extractor to that, and then that to the launching pad. So that's how you get the oxygen, right? And then later on, you'll build like a science little lab, and it's like, oh, now you got to combine like water and...
I think it was silicone. Was it the silicone or the uranium?
Uranium was something else, but yeah, you like silicone and water to make like quartz or something, and then you can use that to make glass, I guess. So like, there's big chains that you're doing, like any other town builder or RTS. Like, you collect wood to make lumber, and then collect wool to make shirts, and then you can like collect stones to make bricks, and combine that with the lumber to make this, and it's like it's that kind of thing. Except you're in space on asteroids with the birds.
Yeah.
And
so
it's
like,
fine.
It's resource management, but it's not like... It seems like it would be way easier than something like as extreme as Factorio or Satisfactory.
Well, we never played those, so it's hard to say, but
well,
yes.
no, but I've seen it, and it looks absolutely fucking ridiculous.
There is a game that's coming out at some point that has that stuff in it that I want to try, but...
Well, I like this version, so...
Yeah.
It's cute.
And, like, at some points, too, like, some asteroids don't have everything that you need, so...
You take from one asteroid, you send it to a different asteroid, you combine it on that asteroid, and then send it out.
Yeah, exactly. And, like, so you're dealing with those type of resources, but then you also have to deal with, like, your cash and research points. And you can either collect those by doing the quests, or by, like, driving the little buggy around, and the buggy can find gold, or whatever the resource is for that. But it can also, like, find, like, green little gold orbs, which are, like, research ones instead.
Oh, is that what it was? I thought it was, like, gathering up more uranium points or something.
No, the little green ones are research points.
I guess that would make more sense.
I mean, it doesn't make a lot of sense, but it was helpful. Yeah.
I just meant that, like, the gold one is gold and money, and the green one is the research points, because the research points are green.
Yeah, and you use research points not only to, like, research new buildings to buy, but also to, like, discover the new asteroids. So, yeah, that's basically the gameplay loop.
I guess you didn't vibe with it too much.
It was fine. I don't know.
I enjoyed my time.
I guess, like, I don't know what I would change about it. I think it was fine. I was trying to find, like, what my personal motivation was, and I couldn't really feel a personal motivation, so the motivation just became get through the demo, which wasn't, a great thing.
Wait, you need, like, a personal motivation? Like, story-wise?
No, just anything. Like, what am I...
Oh, because I was like, well, I gotta learn how to craft these things, so... I don't know. It's just a resource game.
Yeah, maybe I just felt rushed because it was, like, the demo. It was like, oh, you gotta do this. I don't know. Yeah, I didn't vibe with it too much, but I can see how it's... Maybe when the final game comes out and there's more, like, interesting things to do, but
Okay.
Yeah, I guess it was okay. It didn't light my world on fire. But maybe that's okay, because I got a feeling that maybe the other demo that we both played together, you didn't like.
Yeah, I think there was 3 demos that we both played, so we can argue over those first. Which one do you want to go over?
Let's do You Sure You Want to Drink This, which I thought was probably...
That was adorable.
Yes.
That was the most adorable. I mean, yeah, it was pretty fucking adorable.
It's, okay, so You Sure You Want to Drink This is basically you're these 2 characters, but you're mostly like the potion alchemist character, who's like this little dog character called Pepe.
Yeah, she's cute.
And your partner is Herb, and she's like the fighter. So...
I thought this was a very interesting take on a game style, because I don't think there's any other games that have done this before.
Yeah, because, like... You see Herb, especially, because she's like this little knight character with like a red armor and shield and a big old sword. And the art style is not really like Paper Mario, but like very cartoony, cute. It's just...
It does kind of look like it's like paper cutouts.
Yeah.
Not as refined as Mario, I guess, if you want to be
it's
cranky
different
about it. But
I think it looks better than Paper Mario, in my opinion, because it's just cuter. So you got your little dog, your Pepe is like a little dog girl, and then Herb is just like this cute girl, and
a human.
Yeah, and you see like the other things you run into, like a dragon and the little mouse people, and eventually like a cat. Yeah, ignoring the visuals, which is hard to explain, you could just look it up. It's beautiful. Basically, you're controlling you're not controlling both, but you're this party of these two, and I guess Pepe is more the main character since you like control her. But during the beginning of the game, you're just like exploring the woods and finding herbs and stuff to make potions.
Yeah,
and
I think technically you went to this grove to like study specifically. But while you're there in the grove, Pepe gets knocked out by something.
Yeah, she steps like on some rune and that like curses her. Some like shadow thing comes out.
Yeah, it knocks her out, and the shadow takes all her like knowledge.
Yeah, so even though she was like this alchemist that knows everything about plants, and like even in the beginning there's like a bunch of like info that jumps up on the screen like, oh, this plant is this and this, but like it gets like sapped away by this thing. And that's how you start the game. Like, oh, suddenly you don't remember anything about your herbs.
Although I will say this is an interesting take on that, like, trope of, oh, the character lost all their memories and now it's amnesia and stuff like that. Whereas, like, this isn't technically full-on amnesia because she remembers everything else. She specifically loses her knowledge of herbs.
Yeah.
So I think that's kind of... I like that.
Yeah. So you start, like, clearing out the area of the herbs and like figuring out what they are, and you eventually spot like this little dragon thing. Like it's a tail, but it turns out to be a dragon. And they think it's like a fire dragon, and it goes into the battle menu, right? And this looks like an RPG battle menu, like Paper Mario, where you got your characters on one side and the monster on the other side. And again, the monster's really cute. And Herb is basically like, oh, it's a fire dragon. Can we make like a fire protection potion? So you have to like open up your inventory, and you got like your herbs in there, and she's not carrying too many. I think it's like 3 in the first battle, and one's like this little grass thing that's for healing, one's like this, I don't remember what the second one was, something that's like cooling.
I think the second one was a type of fruit that she really liked, because
the third one was the fruit that makes things sweet,
yeah,
and that makes them easier to like
digest or drink down,
but they can also inflame your gums if you eat too much of it. But the second one was like some cooling thing. So you had to mix like, I think it was the fruit and the cooling herb to make like a fire resistance potion.
Now, this might be a translation thing, which we'll go over, I'm sure, in a little bit. But I found it interesting that like in the potion bottle, you can put like 3 things in there. Like it'll fit 3 clicks.
Yeah.
But if you use 3 items, it makes it unpalatable.
Yeah, it's not... Maybe later in the full game there'll be a reason to do 3, but basically the very first potion I made, and I'm sure you did too, was like, oh, might as well use all 3 because all 3 sound good.
Yeah, because it fills up the bottle.
Yeah, it makes it less useful. So ideally you want to do 2 ingredients to make a potion. 1 isn't enough, and 3 is too much. Because the
2 is just right.
Yeah, and I guess that makes sense because like you're not just gonna throw everything. Everything is good. We're gonna throw it all in there. No, you have to like consider how things will interact. So yeah, the first time I put everything, I was like, okay, the healing, the fire resist, and it tastes good. Mix it all together. That's great. But no, it's like it's not as effective, and it also gave her like a tummy ache. So Herb, the fighter, is just she's gonna attack normally. You don't really control her at all.
Nope.
You're controlling Pepe, so you have to figure out, okay, what potions am I using for this? And like again, the dragon's gonna shoot fire, make a fire resist potion. Does Herb need healing? Make a healing potion.
Yeah.
So the first battle is not too difficult.
No, that's I think that might actually be the only battle I didn't fuck up.
I think I might have fucked up that one once.
Well, because the first time you instinctively go for adding 3 items. But.
Yeah, and you got to make sure that your fire protection buff is up when the dragon shoots its fire, because if you don't, it does a massive amount of damage.
That's true, too.
So I messed up that, but it's fine. You restart quick. Anyway, you beat that dragon. Turns out it's not a fire dragon, it's a mushroom dragon. So you collect some of its bits to make like mushroom parts. Then you move on, you meet some rat people, and they're like talking about, oh, this camp is cursed or whatever. And
well, only one of the ones is... There's like 3 of them, I think.
Yeah.
And yeah, the one who's like, I guess supposed to be in pain or something, and he's crying that like this camp is cursed or something, but his 2 other mouse friends don't seem to believe him. But you make a potion to heal him because I forget why he's in pain.
A tummy ache or something, I don't remember either.
Yeah. And then you help him, and then Was it? I guess you just continue on to like explore the grove itself, right?
Yeah, there's a little short nightmare section, which is just whatever. You go to sleep in the camp. She has a nightmare. In the nightmare, you have to like refight the dragon, and like I thought it was going to be a kind of interesting thing. It's like, oh, do you remember what these ingredients are based on just how they look?
Oh yeah, she's fighting the dragon, but like it keeps restarting the fight.
Yeah, it's a nightmare, so it doesn't matter. You end up waking up and she's like, oh my god, I thought you died or whatever. It's fine. Then eventually, yeah, you guys move on from the camp. She's like, at this point, she's feeling like, oh, I'm useless because I don't remember my potion stuff. So she's like, why don't you go back? I'm gonna just wander off. But like, of course, Herb is like, I'm not letting you go without me. You can't fight. I gotta protect you, blah, 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 because they're buddies.
Yeah, I guess like the story is they're just grouped together for this one like school assignment.
Yeah.
But Herb is like, no, it's okay, I'll stay with you. Like, they're not, I don't think they're necessarily starting this as friends. They're just like classmates.
Really? I got the feeling that they were buddies, but the translation on this is kind of
it's very rough. Like I've seen technically worse, but it's rough in the sense like you get the basic idea, but things, because the developers, I've read a little bit of their store page, and there's only like 2 reviews that were in English, and one was like a negative review, but the reviewer was like, I wish I could give this like a neutral, because it's not necessarily bad. But they were talking about how the translation was very rough and hard to understand. And the developer actually replied to them and said, you know, we're happy you've enjoyed the demo so far. We're sorry about the translation. They're just like a 3-person group right now. And it's in simplified Chinese, so I don't remember exactly where in China uses simplified Chinese.
Anyway,
like
the
Hong
translation needs some work, but they'll get to it eventually.
Yeah.
It's still playable, and we still both got through it. I think you got through it. I got through it all the way.
I finished it.
Okay. So
I think the translation though is like, yes, it's rough, and some things are not like natural English ways of saying things, but you get the general gist.
Yeah, I think it just needs polish.
Yeah.
I think everything's understandable if you like, even if you have to reread it once, like, wait, what does it say? And reread it once and like
retranslate it in your head almost.
Yeah.
Like, how would this sound better in English?
But it's fine. And some of the like dialogue and stuff comes up. I'd say it's like 75% fine, and sometimes there's like, wait, what? But it's not really that big of a deal. It just needs polish.
Yeah.
But it's still really cute.
Like one little tiny itty bitty nitpick. I think it's like when you're going to fight the cat or after you fought the cat or something, and Pepe herself calls herself like a pharmacist, and like technically it's not wrong because she's working with potions, but I think a better translation into English would be Pepe calling herself more of an alchemist, I think.
Yeah, an alchemist or herbalist,
but like,
or something.
Again, you get the gist. So,
yeah.
Fine.
And like, again, it's most of the time when they're talking, it's fine and it's cute. It's almost kind of charming in a way, but I don't know. Maybe that's just me because I've played so many Japanese games.
Yeah, it's like it's playing a storybook, basically, I think.
And the visuals are so cute. Like, I don't know. It's just, again, it's hard to explain visuals in the podcast form, but it's just, I think this might be my favorite game visually of all the demos I played.
Honestly?
Maybe.
Yeah, probably. I mean, it depends, because, like, well, you got the 2D stuff. The other demo we both played is voxel based. I played one that's full 3D. Like, they're gonna have different visual
we'll
styles.
get back to that. There might be another one that might top it, but this one's definitely up there. Anyway, so yeah, the next thing we ended up having to do was like there's a box that we find, and we can't like damage it. So you had to like figure out. This time it teaches you that you can make potions to throw. So it's not just Herb chugging down 1,000,000 potions. You can make potions to throw at the enemies too, because we run into this box, and the box is armored up. Her sword can't get through it. So like you have to throw something at it to make it. I think it was like the dragon and fruit, or dragon and I don't know, some other herb to make the. I remember defense down potion.
Yeah, I remember this taking me so long to figure out.
Yeah, because you kept drawing like just the dragon mushroom thing at it by itself. You had to like mix it.
Well, I mixed all my potions, I think. But
no, I remember seeing when you were playing. I'm like, oh boy, is she gonna get stuck here? Because like, yeah, if you mix just one ingredient, when you throw it, you just get a green bar, and you have to hit it in the center. But if you mix two, then you get the yellow thing in the middle. Anyway, you eventually defense down this box, and it turns out that there's a cat inside.
This is where this game is going to have I don't know if this is an actual term. I'm just going to come up with it. The goofy issue. Whereas you have Pepe, who's a anthro dog, a furry, and then you also have a regular cat.
Yeah, it's a cat in a box. It's cute.
So it's like, it's Goofy versus Pluto. That and little issue.
This is another part where I ended up dying. Because if that cat hits you with its strongest attack, it does so much damage. And it's like a puzzle, I guess, in a way. Like, if Herb ends up getting knocked out, Pepe's just like, and you have to retry, whatever. It's really fast. But anyway, you get through this battle with the cat, and then you get, like, the cat box as, like, an ingredient that you can use for defense up, and, like, the cat herb. What was...
I think it said the description. Yeah, ginseng.
Yeah. Anyway, yeah, so after fighting this cat in a box... You continue on and end up finding, more story stuff is happening. I'm not going to go over everything, but like the final boss that you fight in the demo is like this plant monster, right?
Oh, yeah.
And this one was like a 3-phase fight.
Oh, this was such a pain in the ass.
And like the first thing it does is it has like, I think it had like sleep powder. Yeah. The last one was poison and the middle one was like stinky.
Oh, yeah, because poor Herb kept getting hit with the attack and then she stunk.
Yeah.
And the way that plays is you have to give her the potion, but now when you give her a potion when she's stinky, it has this little mini game where you have like your hand and you have to dodge all the stink circles in order to like reach her.
Yeah.
And at first I didn't realize, I just saw the hand, I didn't see the dot. So I was trying to get through the stink bubbles with the whole hand, but you just have to worry about the red little dot.
Yeah, it's
as long as it doesn't hit that, you're fine.
It's like those old shoot 'em up games where like your hitbox is actually really tiny, smaller than the ship. So yeah, the first thing you do is like, okay, the plant puts her to sleep, and then you have to like shake her awake. That's easy enough. And then yeah, if she gets hit by the stinky thing, you have to watch out for the stink lines. And like the final one is poison, which that just acts like poison in any game. And you can mix different things to like, cure the poison or the smell or whatever. But then like at some point the monster has like, it's shooting out spores. So you have to hit it with the potion to clear the spores so that Herb can actually attack it.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's basically it. Like you get through a couple rounds of that, you beat that monster, and
I guess the demo ends.
Pretty much it, yeah. But that's the gist of it. You're like, you're these two characters going through this little, quest and adventure, and it's really cute and fun. Nothing super serious. I mean, yeah, I don't know what the deal with whatever shadow creature that stole her memories are, so, but yeah, I really liked it. This was honestly probably one of my favorite demos we played.
Yeah, this was really good, and I mean, a 3-person team, this is really good for 3 people. So.
If they can polish the translation, I think they got a hit on their hands.
Yeah. And I think getting a translator for English is probably easy.
Yeah.
Most of it is done. It's just technicalities.
Yeah. Either get somebody to translate it better or just rewrite the English to fit what's going on or whatever. It's fine. Yeah, I'm glad. I'm glad you liked it. I don't know. Somehow I thought you weren't going to like it because it was like hard or something, but I guess not. I guess you got through it easily enough, huh?
Yeah. I think, it's just learning how the potions work, basically.
Yeah. It was good. I really liked it.
Shall we go over the last demo that we both played?
Oh yeah, this is the one I played last week, which was it called Town to City?
Yep. I actually found something really interesting about this one. Oh, there was something about space birds, or starbirds too. Apparently, just a quick thing, the starbirds, the developer, Tokana Interactive, also made Dwarf Romantic. So I thought that was kind of cool. Because I enjoyed playing that demo like a couple years ago.
Huh, okay.
And this one, Town to City, that developer made a past game in 2023 called Station to Station. It seems like something that would be up your alley. You love trains.
I'm picky about it, but maybe.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, Town to City is a voxel city builder, right?
Mm-hmm.
So...
voxel is like the 3D pixels type of style.
It's more banished style than, say, SimCity or...
Well, for one thing, it's a town builder, but there's no fighting. Or at least not in the demo.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's like, I guess, medieval, or it's not like modern cities.
No,
there's trains. There's a train,
style.
But it's an old train. And, like, yeah, I think there is money in it.
Yeah, you're working with money. So
okay.
maybe
this,
it's like the
yesterday?
1800s. Yeah, yesterday.
Because I played this like a week ago, so some of it's kind of fuzzy. But yeah. So the really neat thing about that I remember liking is that like you can just draw the trails like freeform, and like you plop the buildings down on top of that. And I guess the thing was like eventually there were some quests that like.
Yeah. So I liked that you can draw the trails yourself, although I kept it on the default size. So I feel like my roads were a little bit too big, and then I realized, oh wait, I can change the size of this and make more like little dirt trails than like a whole dirt road.
Yeah.
And you plop down houses. They kind of look, I mean, I guess because it's in voxel style, but it kind of almost looks like the stucco houses of Florida almost.
Really?
Where it's like flat.
They just look like, I don't know. I haven't traveled to Europe, but like some sort of French or Italian town. Like what is that one town that? There's also that Greek island with the white buildings, except these are colored.
Yeah, I think I've seen that, but I don't know where it is exactly.
But yeah, you're building these cute. They're really cute. People move into the town, and like when they get to the station, you have to click on the families to move them into the house. So you got to make sure you have enough houses. Eventually, you can like make the buildings be an extra floor so another family can move into the top floor.
So I think the interesting thing about this, because like in other city builders, people move in and they just take up whatever residence.
Yeah.
But in this one, it's not super puzzly, but there are points where you'll get a family like, oh, they want to be surrounded by trees.
Yeah.
So you can plop them in a house that's nearby trees and they'll have a happiness bonus.
Yeah.
Or you'll get a family that wants to be near the clothing store. So I literally just put them right next to the clothing store. And when you start filling out all your homes, but, oh, this one has a specific spot, but that home's already taken, you can just move the people in there from the original house to a different house. They won't necessarily take a negative or a bonus either way, and then you put the family that has a specific thing into that new house, the old house. So you can move them around, and it's kind of cool like that.
Yeah, and like so you have to worry about the houses, and then again like worry about the stores and like the production for food, and then you have to like, oh, how many people work at this place, and depending on how many people work there, like their reach is higher slightly, and the warehouse also has to have people working, and it feels like it would get to be kind of annoying, but I guess it really wasn't. It was pretty easy to take care of it all.
For the most part, I think the thing that was a little confusing to me as it got further on was you'll put up, like, there's a cheese stall and a fruit stall and a vegetable stall and the small marketplaces. And I get the concept that like they can only the stalls will only take care of a certain area of houses.
Yeah.
So you start putting more stalls in the other areas to, you know, cover all of the houses in this little town. But I think there's like I don't know if it's necessarily the reach of the stall when you employ more people, but it's like how many people need that stall. But when I put more stalls down, it didn't seem like the need was going down between them. Like the need for them was still higher than, I don't know. It's technicalities. I might have to figure out how it works exactly. Because I put a second stall down and they were happy, but then that one was full. So maybe I needed a third stall somewhere. I don't know.
Yeah, the stalls can only take care of so many people. So, you know, it's like you're going to build little districts like, oh, the East Market District and the West Market District. Because, like, yeah, not only do they have the range, but then they have, like, how many people they can serve. But then you have, like, the bigger stores like the bakery that can do more, or the clothing shop or whatever. What I really liked about this game is, like, the decorating. Like,
yeah, they want you to decorate. This isn't Banished. Like, in Banished, you just decorate as you see fit, and it doesn't really do anything for the people. This one specifically, like, oh, they want decorations on their house, which I couldn't technically figure out before I ended the demo. Or they want decorations on their way to work. I was like, okay.
And so, yeah, sometimes it's they'll even tell you like, oh, I wish there was more pine trees. So like you get a quest to fill an area with pine trees. But even outside of those quests, or the people saying, I want to live around the trees, or I want to live near the cliffs, every tree and like light post and bench and everything that you're putting down is just increasing the happiness of that area too. So like you can make one district really pretty with a bunch of trees and just like in real life, like when my city has trees, that those are streets that I want to be down.
Yeah.
And then like the ones that don't, people are going to be slightly less happy. So this is great for people who even like in city skylines, like I know a lot of the YouTubers I watch, like they'll just go crazy placing down trees. And yeah, me too. Because that's like that what makes the city look better. And this takes that into account, which I like.
My only thing with the pine tree quest, maybe this is because I put it next to the river, but there's only big pine trees. There didn't seem to be small pine trees, so I was finding it difficult to like
There
place.
is actually, and I only noticed this later too, but when you click on the tree, they have different sizes and there's a little button that says randomize.
I was aware of that, but I will say most of the pine trees still seemed too big, even if I clicked the smaller ones. Because, like, with the regular trees, there's the large trees, the medium trees, and the small trees.
Yeah.
Whereas the pine trees just had that.
Yeah.
But also, I feel like when I kept trying to select the randomize, it was only, like, half working.
Yeah.
Or it would
it gets
unclick it.
unselected. Yeah.
Okay. I thought it was a me thing.
That happened with the houses, too, because when you put down the houses, you can pick a color, or you can just click randomize. But you like have to click randomize each time, and like it only registers after you place down the first one. It's not great, but whatever. Maybe they'll fix that.
Yeah, probably just a demo glitch.
Anyway, I don't think there's much else to say about that.
It seemed cute.
It's cute. It was fun. I liked it, and by the time the demo was done, I was like, wow, I like how my town looks.
Yeah, I think maybe if I played it again, because this time, like, I won't have to make all the roads the same size, and I think I goofed myself over that.
Yeah.
But other than that, yeah, I think that was a pretty good little game.
And the nice thing, too, about it is, like, even though the buildings are, like, a set size, knowing that the decorations matter or are not just a waste, like, even if you have little lots that are, like, a little too small for an extra building, putting down trees in there will make it look nice and make it useful. So, I like that.
Yeah, that was nice.
Anyway,
So now we go over demos that we did not both play.
yeah, I guess. How many did you play? How many do you got?
I got too many. There's one I really want to talk about. There's two that are vaguely similar.
I got 3.
Okay,
4
well, I guess
if pushed.
I guess I'll go first then. So the first one that I really, really, really liked, and I want this game when it comes out or as soon as I can, is called Inkombini. So, konbini, for anyone that's ever tried to learn Japanese, that's just the Japanese loan word for a convenience store. Konbini. And this is just a game about, you're like this teenager, she's taking, I guess, she's waiting like a week or two before she heads back to college. So she's working at her aunt's konbini. Mm-hmm. And it's funny because, like, I've worked at a convenience store. We both have. And, like, it's a job. But somehow this game makes it more fun. And
it's set in Japan, I'm assuming.
Yes.
Maybe that
because,
helps.
like, the subtitles are in English, but it's all, like, the voices are all in Japanese.
Mm.
Which is interesting because then when you look at the text in game, like any of the labels or the signs or stuff, you can see Japanese influence in the text, but it's not actual Japanese. Like, it's weird. The prices show, like, the end sign.
Mm.
But if there's any, like, sayings or something, it's gibberish.
Okay.
I don't know. And it's interesting because you can read, for some reason, notes left behind of the other coworkers. Like, you're working the night shift. But I guess the story goes that, like, the aunt tries to get the workers to leave notes or thoughts around, and you can read those notes, like, I don't know, about working at the konbini, I suppose.
Okay.
And the demo's only, like, the first night, because, like, the story is like, oh, she's going to be there, like, a week or two at most, so I guess the game itself is probably not going to be super long. So it's just the first night, and you start off by, well, you have to make sure that all the items are stocked. So I think the one area that isn't full of items is, like, the green tea shelf or refrigerator or something. So you go in the back and you collect the sodas and green teas that you need to fill up, and then you go and you stock it. And then a character comes in, and it's like the short little older man. And it's interesting too, because like just the thing that I picked up on. Okay, you know how I forget if it's a specific type of monk that wears it. There's like the beads around their neck.
Yeah.
He's wearing that for whatever reason. And he just comes in, and as he's exploring the store, he makes like these little comments. And one of the first comments is like, oh, there's bread in this freezer. That seems silly or whatever. So you have to go over, well, you don't have to, but what you can do, what I did, was go over to the freezer, take off the bread from the shelf and put it on the bread shelf where it's supposed to be. And he's just looking around, whatever. And then at some point, he's like, hey, can you help me real quick? So you go over and you talk with him. And he's like, oh, you look familiar. And, oh, this is my aunt's place, yada, yada. And then he asks about, like, he's got this cat at home. The cat is, like, really well taken care of, whatever. And it's got, like, a medical issue recently. And he has to buy, like, a specific type of cat food for it.
Okay, so this is way more of a story game than just like a...
Yeah,
it's not like Supermarket Simulator.
No, this is not one of these simulator games. This is not Unity assets thrown together to make a quick buck. This is legit story and like a thoughtful type of thing. So he asks for the cat food. So you have to go to a pet food shelf as they have it. You look in on the shelf and there's dog food too. You go to the cat section and there's like 3 different types of cat foods in cans. So you click on the item and then you can like read the label and stuff. So you find the cat food that has the specific ingredient that he's looking for. And then you can like offer him the can. He's like, oh, this does look good and stuff. And yeah, it's more story, but it's just nice to like... I like stories.
Yeah.
Like, I just like reading it and getting to know the characters, and helping him was fun. And then he asks about, like, different types of ramen or something. So you're like, oh, you should try the, like, fancy... I told him to try the fancy ramen.
So there's dialogue choices, too?
Yeah.
Okay. So, basically, I'm assuming there's other characters you talked to, too.
Actually, it's only the first night, so he's the only one.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say because like we don't have enough time to go over every single dialogue choice for every character.
Sorry.
But yes, so it's more story based and not so much like you got to decide where everything goes. Like
no,
you're just an employee doing your job, not like setting up things so much, like making the big business decisions.
No,
okay.
You're just putting items where they belong. You can turn the items around because like he makes a comment like, "Oh, the label's facing the wrong way or something." I don't know. You can just change it, and it's really easy and it's cute and I like it. My only mini gripe about the game, I guess, and this is a complaint I saw on the like review section, she walks really slowly for some reason. Like it really feels like crawling, and they just need to speed it up a little bit and the rest of the game's fine.
Okay, cool.
I like it.
Well, great. This sounds cute. And I think I've seen maybe it was a trailer during the summer game show or something, but yeah, it looks good. Oh, cool. It's cool to hear that this is like the one you would definitely buy.
Oh yeah, I want this.
I wonder if I have a choice. I'll have to think about that. But I guess I'll go with for my next game I'll talk about is Absolem. Absolem is kind of like a roguelike side-scrolling beat 'em up. Like imagine, like the Ninja Turtles beat 'em ups or Double Dragon or whatever. Except it's kind of like a roguelike because, and this isn't something I knew when I downloaded it, but every time you die, you have to restart.
Is it like Sifa or Sifu or whatever?
I have no idea. I've never played that.
Okay.
But Absolem is hand-drawn 2D art, and I think this one note I put down for myself here was really cool visual style. If I made a game, I wish I could make it look this cool.
Oh damn!
It's like a cartoony. It's not like Darkest Dungeon, but it's got like it's not like a manga style either. It's like a Western cartoon style, but it looks really, really good. Like you control at the beginning of the game, you can choose between like this dark elf lady with the sword or like this dwarf dude who punches things and throws like grenades, and like then the enemies are like goblins or little knight dudes or sometimes like just a bunch of different stuff like that. And it's all hand drawn and it looks so good. Gameplay wise, it was okay. I mean, it was fun. I beat it. It kind of hard, honestly. Some of it, like I think the first boss I ran into was this like big ogre dude in the goblin village, and like he kicked my butt and I had to restart. Then like I played with the other character. I think the second time I played with the dwarf, and I went like a different path because there's branching paths. The first time I went down to the goblin village. The second time I went to the human village. Well, the humans don't like us either because apparently our characters are like associated with mages, even though they didn't feel like mages. I mean, the dwarf didn't have any magic at all. He would throw grenades. So the villagers there attack you too, and like the boss there was like this sword and shield dude, and he's like the town guard, and he was hard, but I think I beat him on my first try. And then after the towns, no matter which path you choose, the goblin town or the human town, you move on to like this dwarven area. But still, you can pick through different like paths through here.
So you mentioned that it's like a roguelite, whichever. When you restart, are you gaining anything from your past life, or is it
yes.
just... Okay.
I'll get to that.
Okay.
Just to get through like the story, I guess. Not really story, but like the next path is like, again, through the dwarven part, you get to the end of that, and there's like this zombie dwarf you have to fight. And this guy kicked my butt the first time. And probably the second time. So when you die, you get sent all the way back to the beginning to like your starting zone, and there you can like use the currency you accrued to like, I think like build up, you use it on like a skill tree type of thing to like, you know, higher HP, maybe take less damage, or open up new skills for your characters to use. Eventually too, you unlock another character. As you're like adventuring and doing your runs, you'll run into another character who looks like this, I don't know how to describe her. She almost looks like a mannequin or something, or she has like a prosthetic leg or something. But after a few runs, you unlock her, and that's another character. So you get 3 characters in the demo. I think there's obviously going to be more in the main game, but basically, as you making these runs and dying, there is a reason when you come back, like you'll power up or get new characters. So it's not like a complete loss. Yeah. I will say though, it is super annoying to be like, I get all the way to the dwarf boss, he kicks my ass, I have to restart all the way, go through the goblin or the human town again, fight those bosses again. So like, it's not like a Souls game or any other game like that where if you lose to the boss, you're gonna get to try the boss again soon. You have to go through that whole section again. And like, the game is fun, but I can't imagine like later on in the main game, like when there's more, like I hope I'm not gonna have to beat those 2 bosses again just to get to the next stage.
Well, if you played those old NES games that were NES hard, where this one doesn't even have 3 lives. It's just if you die once, you're getting all the way to the start of the stage.
One of the things you do unlock eventually as you die, like one of the skills you get to buy is like a resurrection. But it's like a mini resurrection. So like if you get killed, you get resurrected and with like half of your life right then and there. So it's basically like 50% extra HP. But yeah.
But are you resurrecting in the middle of the fight?
Yeah.
Ugh.
So it's not like you're restarting the fight and like, okay, take a deep breath, use what you learned and fight it again. It's like the fight continues. So it's like, oh man, it's not a super easy game. I think all of the 3 bosses killed me at least once. And the dwarf boss at the end killed me multiple times. But I did eventually get through it and beat the demo. And it's like, okay, well, you finished the demo. That's when I unlocked the 3rd character. So I'm like, well, I'm going to try the 3rd character. And despite her being probably visually my most favorite, I didn't really like her.
How she played.
Yeah. You know what? I won't get too deep into that because I've already talked enough about this game. But so I have to say, the game looks amazing. Visually, it's up there with... You sure you want to drink this with like my favorite game visually. I think the game from last week that I talked about was also up there too, but between these two, like the 2D art and one's more silly and cute, this other one is just like, man, that art looks so good, and if I made a game, I wish I could like make a game that looked that good too. But it was fun.
That's cool. Okay, I'm gonna try to make these a lot quicker because there's not as much story to them.
That's good.
Gecko Gods. So imagine playing a Zelda game, but you're a gecko. So there's puzzles, there's, I guess, a little bit of story, but not really much to worry about. The interesting thing is because you're a gecko, the puzzles include, like, running around on the side of the walls and, like, on the ceiling.
Yeah.
So that kind of adds a little bit of a new dimension. It was really good. The only complaints, other than, like, okay, I guess there's technically 2 complaints. One is the filter style, which it's one of those games where it's a 3D game, but they have that filter where like darker lines kind of get added to things.
Like cell shading.
Yeah, but I know it's a filter, and there's like another game another demo I played that has the same filter, and I'm like, I don't like it.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, it's not something I like, but whatever. The other thing is just the controls can get a little goofed up because of the, I guess, additional dimensions of walking on the ceiling and walls.
Did you play this with a controller or a keyboard?
Technically keyboard, so maybe controllers are a little different.
For a 3D platformer like this, yeah, I can imagine a joystick is going to be better than WASD.
Yeah, maybe. And as a quick thing, I'll just go into the next demo because it's vaguely similar. This one's called Big Hops. It's another 3D platformer, and I would also compare this relative to like a Legend of Zelda game. It's puzzles. This one's more...
Oh, the Froggy game?
Yeah.
Okay.
This one's like a child's game in the sense of like it's story, and he's like with his little sister, and they're just trying to find their way back home. The voice acting is fine, I guess, for Hops and his sister, which I forget his sister's name. But the little villain character in here, I really liked his voice. And he doesn't turn out... I guess the spin is that he's the villain, but he's like playing as the totems as you're going around the forest first. But like his voice gives off that like, this doesn't feel right to me, like from the very get-go. And yeah, it turns out he's the villain, whatever.
Now, how, like you say villain, for both of these games, are there like enemies you have to fight or deal with?
In the Gecko game, there's little bugs you can eat, and there's little creatures that you can fight. You like just scuttle into them.
Okay.
There's like one of the enemies in the Gecko Gods is like a little pot creature, I guess, and then you just run into them 3 times, they fall over, and that's it. And then they drop like what I assume is like little health points or health pellets, but they look like Doritos to me. Because it's just like little golden triangles.
Oh, that's should have been little bugs that you eat up.
Well, the bugs you can already eat that are just like around.
Do those restore health?
I think so.
Okay, so it's like
I didn't really
Battletoads.
lose much health, so it's kind of hard.
In Battletoads, there's to restore health, like you could eat the bugs that are flying around.
Yeah. In Big Hops, I guess because it's a kid's game,
Also,
it's just puzzles.
Bug-eating creature.
Yes, and you can find bugs again. And you, like, the first time you catch a bug, you, like, investigate it. You move it around and then
eat it.
You can eat them. You can just put them away in your backpack. It was cute. If you don't mind playing kids' games, I think it was really good.
Does Hops have to fight anybody?
No, I think it's all puzzle stuff.
So no, like, fail state where you die?
You can fall.
Okay.
So there's not fall damage if you land on land or in water, but there are like, there's areas where it's just like fog or whatever, and then you fall.
And then just respawn.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, but you're not going to run into like a monster that's going to hit you and make you ragdoll and game over.
Not that I've come across yet, no. But I did get to... It was a pretty decently timed demo. Like, I was like kind of surprised how long they let you play and how far and how much you could explore. So, I don't know. It was good. Gecko Gods and Big Hops, both cute little games if you like Legend of Zelda-ish puzzles and environmental puzzles and stuff like that.
All right, yeah. Speaking of time, I did write a note that, like, you sure you want to drink this? Took me about an hour, a little bit less than an hour. Absolem, I played for about 2 hours. The Starbirds was like about an hour. So
Yeah, I don't remember which one was my longest one.
I haven't talked about my longest one yet, but well, maybe I should talk about that then. All right, fine. This one is weird.
Oh boy.
I didn't think I would play this one this long, but I think it's mostly because I just didn't have much to do this weekend, and like I wanted a game. Okay, this is basically kind of like imagine Vampire Survivors, that kind of game, right?
Yeah.
Except you're controlling a little car.
Okay.
You got a driver, but she has a cool picture of your driver, but she has no effect on your game. I think there's other drivers in the main game, but you only start with this one. And she starts with a little red car, and it has like a little gun on it. And there's a bunch of robot things that you have to fight and shoot. Every time you destroy one of these little robots, like sometimes they'll drop XP, you collect it up just like in Vampire Survivor, and you level up. When you level up, there's like a drop pod that comes down, and you have to go up to the drop pod and you can like, well, it's like any of these games, right? You level up, you get like a choice of 3 different things to add to your car. So sometimes it's like a new weapon, or sometimes it's like a accessory, or like just blocks that you can add to your car to make it bigger. So as you're playing this game, you're collecting a bunch of blocks, a bunch of accessories, a bunch of weapons. You start off with a machine gun, but there's stuff like rail guns or missiles or chainsaws that you attach and ram into the enemies.
Jesus.
So it's not like Lego. It's not like,
I was thinking, is it a mix between Lego and Robot Wars?
yeah, kind of. Basically, you can think of that, yeah. So the thing that's fun about it is because there's so many different weapon types, like you got your ballistic weapons like the machine guns, or the what did I say, like a rail rifle?
Railgun?
Yeah, like a rail gun, or like this mini gun thing. Those all do ballistic damage. So there's like items that will increase your ballistic damage. But then there's like electrical weapons too, like lasers and a lightning gun and like a satellite thing that calls down like a satellite laser drop thing. So that's like a big AoE that hits. And then like items that increase your electrical damage. But then there's like explosives, like missiles or cannons that shoot out like like a big old bomb, or like mines that you can drop. And then again, stuff that increases explosive damage. So like you're kind of making a build, but you also have to take into account like the space that this takes on your car, on your little vehicle. So you're also getting the building blocks to make it bigger. You can, build a big tall car, or a big wide car, or a big long car, or like any combination of things.
Do you have to worry about weight?
Yes, in a sense. I actually screwed myself over with that once, but if you make your car too long or too wide, that obviously makes you a bigger target too, right?
Yeah.
But you also have to take into consideration like your wheels, the type of wheels you get. Like if some wheels are better for grip, or some wheels are better for like speed and max speed and like acceleration. You also get booster things. Some wheels are bigger, some wheels are smaller, and like if I messed up once and accidentally put one of my things touching the ground, and that dragged me down so bad that like I couldn't turn.
Oof.
So it's like, oh crap, I messed up, and that like caused me to die. But like I was watching one of the YouTubers that I regularly watch, and he made his vehicle way too tall, and it ended up like tipping over.
Oh yeah, that makes sense. So there's physics in this.
Yeah, and like most of the time, like if you're building normally, you can notice like, oh, my car's getting a little back heavy, so when I'm accelerating, my front wheels are like lifting up too much. So like the next time you go to build, you can like rearrange the blocks. Anytime you level up, you can just rebuild it completely however you want. Like they're basically Legos. You can remove the blocks and rearrange them. So like you can put the certain guns facing forward, or certain guns facing to the left or the right or behind you. Some have like 360, so they just shoot out anywhere.
Now, you mentioned this as vaguely in the style of Vampire Hunters?
Survivors.
Or Vampire Survivors?
That kind of survivor game, yeah.
If you put guns, are you having to shoot this manually,
No.
or is it's automatic? Okay.
The only thing you have to worry about as far as
Where you're driving?
shooting is, where you're driving and aiming. So like if you have one of the miniguns, that has a narrower firing range. So like it'll only fire in front unless you aim it. Like if you put it on the vehicle facing to the left, it'll only shoot the left side of your car.
Got it.
Which is good if you're like, you want to strafing, like if you're strafing the boss or whatever. So it depends. Some of them will just have 360 and they'll fire everywhere, which can be good or bad. Maybe it depends. Like the chain gun that can only fire directly in front of it does a lot of damage. But again, you have to figure out like one of the recent builds that I did, and this is one of the reasons I kept replaying this game. It's fun to be like, oh, this time I'm going to focus only on ballistics, and I made it so that like the car basically was useless from any other side, but facing on the enemy directly ahead, it just like annihilated everything. And like the first time I beat this game, I did it with like an explosive build, because I think the explosives in this game are just very powerful, because you don't have to aim them. They explode on big AoE damage, and it's really good. I could never make an electric build work completely, or a physical like ramming build, because you also get like a turbo button where you press the button and you like charge, and you can like ram into the enemies and do damage with like the chainsaws or like drill bits or stuff like that.
Right.
But later on, one of the bosses especially just shoots out so many projectiles that became like, I could not make that build work. But it's still fun to like, you can have like, your machine guns and still add like the drill bits and stuff in front of the car if like when you're leveling up it's like, well, this is the best thing. I'm going to choose that instead of like the lightning thing or whatever, right?
So you don't have to build a car that only has like one type of system and
Exactly.
just mix it. Okay.
But you can like kind of specialize in like explosives or ballistics or whatever, because certain items you get will increase that type of damage a lot.
True.
So you kind of like, it's that thing where you're leveling up each time and like, oh, this time I kind of rolled into like the ballistics build or the
do you want to
explosive
go
build.
down a mastery way or do you want to be the jack of all trades way?
And like it really is just depends on what you level up and what you luck into. Like you can't choose too much. You kind of have to roll with it each time. But still, I found it fun enough that I played it multiple times. And again, maybe it's just because I was bored this weekend. But this was a demo that I could just like, I'm just going to do a run of this real quick. So I ended up playing this one a lot.
Is there a time limit by any chance too? Because I did enjoy that in Vampire Survivors. Like, I have 45 minutes, so I'll play this once.
It's more like there's a time bar on top, and there's 2 in the middle of it, one of the boss spawns. And at the end of it, the final boss spawns.
Kind of like Loop Hero.
I guess.
Because that had like a daytime system and it slowly fills up and then eventually the boss shows up.
Yeah, like that, or like 20 Minutes to Dawn, or any of those Survivor games that have that. I think the HoloLive one also worked on a timer. So you can either die or you can beat the boss that spawns at the end of the time. That's your time limit, I guess. If you take too long, you get overwhelmed with really strong enemies. So you got to like beat that boss before you do that.
Makes sense.
That's your time limit, basically. And that's like what the runs involve. And I don't know how long each run takes, but I'm going to say how long I played this game, and maybe it'll be surprising because this is just a demo. I ended up playing this. According to Steam, I put 8 hours into it.
Holy shit.
8 hours into this demo.
Well, you can't return this demo now. You went over the time limit.
So it's like, that sounds like I would say, I love this game. And it was fun. I don't know if I would buy the full game. I'm probably going to just, play other stuff now. Now that we're done with demo week, I'm going to go play, other games now.
Yeah.
But I didn't want to, like, dive into another game yet, so I'm like, I'm just going to do this real quick. And it was just one of those games that was fun, like, I'm going to play a quick run of this. And multiple runs have added up to, like, 8 hours. And yeah, I mean, it was fun. It's fun building your little Lego car and, like, trying out different things. Even though, like, there isn't really that many builds. There's like 4, I guess you could say. Explosives, ballistics, electrical, like lightning
Physical.
and lasers, and then like ramming. And ramming and electrical, I could not get those to work very well. But the other 2 were just really OP. And like, I kept trying to like, I'm going to make electrical work this time, and it just couldn't. So maybe that's probably why I like built up so many hours in that game. But it was fun. I liked the visual style. The little robots that you're blowing up are really cool. The car that you're driving is going to look like a fucking mess at the end of it because you're just building a bunch of Lego blocks together. Maybe you can make something look cool. I mean, I made a few that looked okay, but yeah, it was fun. So did I even mention the name of the game?
I don't think so.
Okay, sorry. The name of the game is Terra Tech Legion. Terra Tech apparently is a previous game of theirs that they made, but I don't know anything about it except that, yeah, you're building little Lego cars. Anyway.
Okay, one quick thing before we leave, because I don't know what the time is at. Hotel Galactic. The visual is very Studio Ghibli. Like, one of the characters that they show, I think on the splash page or whatever, is literally a furry version of a Howl from Howl's Moving Castle.
Okay.
Yeah, it's literally that. But it's also, you're building, like, a hotel in the style of, like, Spirited Away.
Oh, wow, okay.
And it's really cute. I like it. Hopefully it goes somewhere. It's a little bit more involved than, like, Sim Tower, if that's an old game, and I forgot the other spiritual successor that I technically have, another tower building game. I'm assuming it's kind of like that with Studio Ghibli.
Oh, okay.
So it's really cute. We'll see how much it goes for.
Do the characters matter? Like, do they talk to you and have
yeah,
stories?
Yeah, they have quests. They have stories. There's, I thought he was an otter, but he's like a centaur, because I think he has 4 legs, but he also has his 2 arms and 2 hands. He's the cook. The other 2 are better at, like, just cleaning up and building things. There's crafting system. It's cute. but it's a quick shout out there for Hotel Galactic.
Okay.
So I think that's enough.
Well, I got one more I need to talk about.
Oh, shit. Okay.
Yeah, I'm trying to pull the rug out from under me here.
Well, I don't know how long we're going, so, you know.
Okay, so last game, and I have to talk about this because I was kind of excited about it. It's called Lustra, Lachia's Tale, and it's basically like a Dark Cloud kind of game.
Oh, okay. Well, I know you were playing that in the last couple of months, so.
So yeah, Dark Cloud, to reiterate, is a third-person action-adventure game where you're split between like the 3D adventure or you're dungeon diving and fighting and stuff, and then like the other half is building a town and like populating it with your villagers or whatever. Dark Cloud 1 and 2 both had different ways of populating the towns, but in this one you're basically playing as I guess her name is Lachia. And her like family and friends, they're like on this airship and they're trying to find this. I don't know if they're just crash landing on this sky island or if that's what where they were going. But suffice it to say, you get to this island, you're controlling her, and she's like a mage. She's not like a sword fighter like the Dark Cloud protagonists are. So it's kind of like a third-person shooter except with magic. I didn't really unlock any great spells, so it kind of just felt like I was just shooting like fireballs and stuff. So the combat wasn't like super exciting. I seen in the help menus that like eventually you get some really cool like ice spells and stuff, but I didn't really experience that. The combat, I was a little underwhelmed because of that. And again, I don't know. I didn't run into a lot of enemies either. Like this weird little orb thing that would shoot at me. So it's like, oh, I shoot at it, dodge its shots. It wasn't like the most amazing thing. But maybe it'll get better later. An interesting thing about all these characters, too, is they all have, like, animal masks, so you can't see their faces. And the voice acting for Lachia herself is really good, but the voice acting for everyone else is kind of hit or miss. Like, more on the miss side, honestly.
It happens.
So as you go through this little adventure, you go through this clearing, you find this big old clearing, and it's like, this is where it's like, oh, let's set up our little camp here. So your NPC mentor's like, okay, we got to build, like, a house. So you collect the wood, and she uses magic to like collect up logs. You can eventually go hit trees with your axe too. But the neat thing is, after you built your house, like some of the other survivors come and they're like, okay, we're gonna help out too, and like you can tell them to do jobs. So you build like a fishing hut, and some of them will like go collect fish. Then you can build like the lumber hut, and like one of them will go collect lumber. And eventually more people move in. And you get different things like a mining place where you can like get stone and again, this is like a third-person action-adventure game, but when you're in the building mode, it's like Dark Cloud. It zooms out and you can just plop the things down.
Yay.
And you're basically telling the people, and these are all named characters. They're not just like nobodies, right? So when you're doing the town building, it's kind of like Banished in a way, because it's more, there's no money, there's just resources. You got to have enough lumber or wood to build the houses, and everyone's got to have enough food. But instead of Banished, where it's like just a bunch of nobodies, each of these characters have like
a name,
a personality, and like they also have skills. Like somebody will be good at fishing, for example, or maybe this guy's just big old burly and he's really good at chopping trees. Later on, after this, you make a thing that lets you like destroy some vines that are in the way, and then like this unlocks a new third-person action. Or there wasn't really a lot of action, but so eventually, yeah, during the town building stuff, you're going through there. You run into some story stuff, like this little frog that's talking, a guy that's been cursed turned into a frog, whatever. And eventually, a witch, and she's like, she's not super friendly, but she has a couple quests, and if you do the quest, maybe she'll be friendly. And one of them is like, oh, there's a bunch of monsters in my pumpkin patch. Can you go destroy them? And then another one's like, there's these freeloaders that are bothering me. Can you make them go away? The pumpkin patch thing is easy. You go there and you fight a couple more of those enemies. And again, it's just the same enemy. It's like these weird floating rock things that shoot you. So you got to shoot them with your magic and not get hit by their magic. It's whatever. I'm hoping that later in the game there's going to be more interesting things, but do that quest. She gives you some seeds. You go talk to the other guys like, hey, stop bothering the witch or whatever. Or they're these two other dudes with like animal masks, and like, oh, we were helping her farming, but she's so, eccentric. Now she wants us to leave. It's like, well, you want to come with us? I got a town over here. You could come help us. And they will only join you if you have enough food. So you either have to collect a bunch of food or build some farms. And you can tell them, we have farms if you want to come, help us farm. So like, okay, great. That's how you recruit more people. So I'm assuming that as you're questing in like the full game, you're going to meet more people like that. Like you do some quests for them or prove that your town is worth living in, they'll come join you.
Yeah, that makes sense.
One of those dudes sucks at everything. Like he is not good at like lumber or mining. So if you try to set him to do those jobs, he's like 20% less efficient. Whereas like the people that are talented at stuff, they'll be more like 5-10% more efficient at doing whatever. He is good at being a baker, but I never unlocked. I know that eventually there's like a thing. I think I had a woodcutter's lodge and then like a lumber mill to make the wood into planks. And then like there was a pharmacy I could build to like get your dudes to make like health potions for you to use in your adventure.
So he's just good at something that you can't unlock in the demo yet.
I don't know. See, that's the thing. As much as I like Dark Cloud and the idea of this game is something that I would be really into, as a demo, it needs a lot more polishing. It needs a lot more time in the oven. So I got to the point where I'm like, okay, I've had enough of this. Maybe I'll come back to it later to, get to the end of the demo. Let me see how much time I put into this game. Okay, I only played it for like an hour and 20 minutes. Oh, I could have played more.
Yeah.
But the town building part and where you're like telling people to do their jobs, it kind of reminded me of RimWorld in a way, even though I don't play RimWorld. But like you can go to a character and tell them, I want you to do this job. Basically, you set up 3 jobs for them.
Yeah.
Well, up to 3 jobs, but the 3 jobs would have priorities. So like the lumberjack dude, I'm like, okay, your number 1 job is going to be cutting down wood because you're really good at that. But like if you run out of that, have like a second priority of like working this other thing. Same for the other people. Like you're really good at running the warehouse, so that's your number 1 priority. But if you're done with that and you still need something else to do, then like, I don't know, go do some fishing or something. I found this part of the game kind of like tedious. And again, I was playing with a controller, so maybe
having keyboard and mouse, it's easier to
for that maybe. And another thing, unlike Dark Cloud, when like you pull out to the build mode, when you go back to the third person mode, it like your character doesn't move. Whereas in Dark Cloud, like if you go into build mode and you're building like, oh, I built a house here and a lumberjack thing here. When I go back into the third person mode, it starts me there. With this one, it's just like it goes back to where you were standing. So you still have to like run this whole huge area on foot. I think they need to fix that, and I think I've mentioned that in their Steam discussion page. I'm not sure if I did or not, but that's definitely like, oh, please add that, because this is a big area. This is way bigger than any of the play zones that you get in Dark Cloud. So you can make these, I'm assuming, huge towns, because I think I had unlocked at least 8 characters, 7 or 8 characters, and like, yeah, I probably filled up like maybe a quarter of the map.
Damn.
So it's a massive area. Being able to zoom around a bit would be nice.
Yeah, that seems fair enough. Because it's not going to add anything to the game to have to run across town.
Aside from that and the enemies being uninteresting this early on, again, maybe it gets better. It feels like this game has a lot of potential, but it needs a lot more polishing in that and in just the UI for the town building stuff, because it felt a bit clunky. Like sometimes I would click on like, oh, I need to add this person to this job, or you can do it in 2 different ways. You can either click on a building and be like, who should you set up to work here? Or you can like go into the jobs menu and like do all the stuff from there. But it felt kind of clunky, so I don't know, that could use some work. But
well, such is the life of demos, I suppose.
It has potential in it. It feels like if they do it right, this would be a really fun game, because I like the idea of like, oh, it's Dark Cloud, except the people you're putting into the town, it's not just like a story thing. Because in Dark Cloud, it's like, oh, put this person in this house and like then the future will be better, or you'll unlock some like, MacGuffins and like some items. In this, it's like you're recruiting people to make resources like lumber and like stuff to help you on your adventure. It feels like it's a really good idea. Mm-hmm. So I kind of want to see where they go with it, but yeah, it definitely needs some more time. But I think overall I'm positive on it. So yeah, Lachia's Tale.
That's good.
I'm gonna keep an eye out and see how that goes. I guess that I had one more demo, but I'm not gonna talk too much about it.
I think I'm good.
Okay. Then I'll just briefly mention I played Ninja Gaiden Ragebound.
Oh.
It looks It's a beautiful 2D game, but I didn't really enjoy it too much.
Is it like story-wise, combat-wise? It's just
there's
another Ninja Gaiden.
Ninja Gaiden to me was a fast-paced action game on the NES that I never played the 3D ones. It's just really fast. This one kind of has a gimmick where like certain enemies have to be destroyed with like a power attack, but you can only get the power attack by either charging up and using some of your life or killing certain enemies that gave you it. It almost feels like puzzly in a way.
Weird.
I don't know. I didn't really vibe with it. Eventually you unlock another character and like you're like switching between two versions of the stage, but like I don't know. I don't want to be negative, so I'm not going to say too much. I think visually it's amazing, but gameplay wise it's just not for me. So I think that's pretty much all the demos finally. I guess you probably skipped a few, but yeah.
Yeah.
We don't have to talk about all of them, but
no, because holy shit.
Oh my god, that was a big Steam Next Fest. We were finally through with all the demos, and we could start moving on to other games we want to play.
And other types of discussions.
Yeah. I think in 2 days, I think it's called Persona 5X or something. I'll have to do. It's a new Persona game, but it's free to play.
Oh, it's the gacha thing?
Yeah. So I'm not looking forward to that, but the people who have played it have said the main story is worth it. Okay. So I want to, because like I love the stories in Persona games. So I'm gonna try it out, and I'll report back on if the gacha shit and the free to play stylings of it is just terrible. But yeah, I'm gonna subject myself to another fucking gacha game because I want more Persona, basically. So
is this PC or mobile?
Both.
Okay.
But I'm gonna play on PC.
Yeah, new PC is usually easier. And
it's basically like Persona 5, except new characters, new stories, and apparently it's really freaking good, story-wise. So well, I'm kind of excited and kind of nervous that, like, you know, the gacha stuff is going to be annoying. So we'll see. I'll report back on that. That's what I'm probably going to talk about next week. And yeah, okay then.
Well, that was good for this week. So
yeah,
hopefully you enjoy this whole 2 weeks
everywhere. It was a mess.
Demos.
There's a bunch of brain farting and like, oh, we liked it. But I will say, shout out to, I think my favorite game of this week was You Sure You Want to Drink This?
That was cute. I'm going to go with Inkubini, just because, I just really want that.
Alrighty. Well,
we'll see you next week.
Have fun. Enjoy.
We love you.
Be
good.
Survive.
Bye.
Bye.